Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply. In this video is to bring you a closer look at the DraftSeal number DS425B. This is a kerf inserted gasket seal for windows, they say. Well, I'd for sure not have I wouldn't have a complaint if they used it in a door as well. But it is listed for doors, certainly. That's just the extended description information. And so what is this? You very likely have this piece. You may never have really noticed it in your exterior door. Yes, certainly your window. A kerf is a preparation that's done in typically a wood frame, can be a metal frame as well. Not real usual to have kerfed in weather stripping in a steel frame, but I've seen it, and it certainly does exist. And when it's in regardless of it really being a wood frame or a metal frame, the reference to kerf is going to be the same. It's going to look like that. Okay, so that's your door drawn in there. And so basically the weather stripping is going to occupy that space that I've loosely drawn in there. And the kerfed in style weather stripping is really handy because it's easy to make the frame for it in terms of just running a kerf, however that is being done. It's also really easy to install the weather stripping. It's easy to pull it out and replace it when it fatigues. And I would say that every decade or so, you'd probably, if you're in a northern climate, you'd probably be interested in a refit of your weather stripping. And it will slow down in fatigue, but that's measured in a decade for sure. I've seen this material installed in those sorts of installations, and I wouldn't see it being any sooner than 10 years, depending on your application, though. So the DS425 is exactly this piece of weather stripping. It's available in the B finish, which is brown, and W for white. That's the kerfed area there, those tangs. That's going to insert right down, and you can literally pull that right out of your kerf, and it's going to work out just fine for you with replacing it. Now, some dimensional properties of the item, and there is an image down below that will show these dimensions. Our tape measure is not going to be quite as accurate as down to the 64th of an inch. Let's take a look. Most important thing is you're going to have a 7/64ths of an inch wide kerf. Generally, an 1/8 of an inch kerf is the one that I hear most common. They're looking for 7/64ths. Then they're looking for a kerf depth of 1/4 inch. 1/4 inch and 7/64ths. Now, 7/64ths wide. You'll use a slotting cutter or however you're going to do that. Router table. Okay. 21/64ths, so basically 3/8 of an inch, right? Something in that range. 5/16ths, probably be more accurate. For the projection from the plateau of the area down to the bottom of the item. So right in that 5/16ths type range. The important part with this is knowing how far to allow yourself from the face of the stop to the face of the door when you're mortising for this material. So when you hold it in this sort of orientation, sure, you're going to collapse it down a bit. But the fact of the matter is, if I was going to make this for this type of weather stripping, I'd probably be in the 1/4 inch range. Being any tighter than that, any less than that, I think it's going to be awfully tight. I would sure not want to be really any more than 1/4 inch. And generally what I find with kerf weather stripping and making the frame for the first time is sometimes you make a little change after the first one. My initial would be 1/4 inch is what I would do for this piece of weather stripping. There's a link below this video to a document called Cut Sheet that will allow you to review this item. It's really the same information that we have in the extended description, nothing really new there. There's also a link to a document called Product Catalog that will allow you to review lots of different kerf style from DraftSeal, and they do a pretty, they must find that business thrives when it comes to kerfed in weather stripping, because we do sell a good fair amount of it. And looking at that catalog, I can tell you that the DS425, this model, I find it to be less common than I do all others, in fact. That DS431 is pretty common. And the DS426 is fairly common as well. When you're looking at that stuff, obviously what you should start with, if you're matching, just try to match the profile. However, there are manufacturers, and not so much, all the profiles are unique when you look at one. And if you really study it, they will ultimately look different when you look at one that's 5/8 or one that's 1/2 inch. And that dimension is called the reach. Reach, by the way. So the reach of this is 21/64. That's the reach. So if you hear that term or see that term reach, that's what it refers to. For instance, the DS431, that has a 1/2 inch reach. And it's the reach that you're trying to determine if that's accurate or enough. Now there are on the market kerfed in weather stripping with a greater reach than what I see here, like 9/16. That wouldn't be unheard of, and we sell a lot of that as well. But you're going to want to match the profile, obviously match the color, but most importantly match the reach, because the face of the stop to the face of the door, when you're in the 0-degree position, you want to make sure you've got enough room there to get it closed. When you insert the material back in, make sure it's fully seated. You don't want to have unintentional compression on the item when you are cycling the door. Available really in any length. This happens to be a 40-inch piece. We cut it for the client. They generally ship it to us rolled. That's generally not been a problem, and they don't roll it so tight that it kinks. If you wanted to do, let's say, 100 feet of this, you had a handful of doors, you can order 100. You could order the 12-inch length and just write in the comment field, ship this as a continuous roll 100 feet in length. So it's sold per foot. There's no disadvantage to ordering it one way or another, with the exception of ordering 42-inch, because you're really paying for a 48-inch piece. So go to the next longest piece that's, even foot that's in the site. Finally, there's a link below this video to the manufacturer's page, where you can pull up not only all of the DraftSeal products that we sell, but a link to the manufacturer's website, as well as a link to the full product catalog. Any questions on the DraftSeal DS425 and a B finish, kerfed in style weather strip, or any other DraftSeal product, please feel free to reach out to us. Thank you very much.